in the mid-90s because at live shows, Ed would start playing old stuff. You know, he'd do like a minute instrumental of old stuff and tease the audience with that. And he knew Sam wasn't going to sing it. It was becoming an issue. So I don't know why Sam had such an issue with that. I mean, well, he had an issue with that because he really wanted to prove himself with the new band and that it was as good as the old stuff. Because that's the thing Sam always said. Oh, we're a new band. We're a new band. We're still a new band. I mean, Balance was around. Like, we're still a new band.
I know.
Still a new band. Dude, you've been around for like a decade and have multiple studio albums. Now, come on. Suck it up and play Romeo Delight for crying out loud.
Exactly.
Nope.
I know. On to letter number 11, and this comes from a guy who just calls himself TNJ629. He says, I heard the latest podcast and your discussion about Eddie and Dave's Smoke on the Water snippet from Live in Tokyo. That was a nod to Made in Japan, the seminal Deep Purple album recorded in Tokyo. Well, thank you. That makes sense. I didn't even draw that conclusion, but thank you so much. That is very true. It was a good call on that. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, but they were also doing that in the States before that Japanese tour. Yeah, because, well, they totally did that when we saw them. So that whole little addendum at the end of the song of Smoke on the Water was nothing new by the time they got to Japan. So it's definitely a nod to Deep Purple, but they didn't just do that in Japan as a nod to the Made in Japan album.
Okay, cool. And we are on to letter number 12, and it comes from Liddell Wallace. Liddell says, I saw the tour in Birmingham. He's talking about the 5150 tour. Someone threw a sign on stage that said Rock Candy. Sammy turned to Ed and said, can we play a little of this? So they played about 2 minutes of Rock Candy. Question is, what is both of you guys' favorite cover the guys played on tour? Nothing from a Van Halen record on the tour. Mine is Bowie's Gene Genie from one of the club debuts. I also enjoy the Live Without a Net breakdown and the Randy Bachman interview. Prayers for Eddie's health and the Van Halen family. Liddell Wallace. Well, a nice man right there. We're going to do a Sammy era and a Dave era for you. I love the Van Halen version of Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers, which is the ZZ Top song that they did on, that was what, 82 tour or 80...
82 and 83, because
right.
I was going to pick the same one.
Oh, Jesus. I also like when they did the Somebody Get Me a Doctor with a little I'm So Glad in there. That was kind of cool, too.
Oh, yeah, that was, I didn't know if that qualified or not, because they started with Somebody Get Me a Doctor, and then they totally went into the whole medley jam
just
thing.
Just a snippet, I did it on the side. But Beer Drinkers and Hellraiser, first of all, I thought Dave did a killer job, and when Mike comes in and sings with Dave, oh my God, I love that.
Yeah, great, and Ed's solo is killer.
Please.
I mean, I'd almost argue, and I know this is blasphemy.
Oh boy.
But that it's better than the studio ZZ Top version.
Well, yeah, it is pretty cool, so I have to say. And then with Sam, I gotta be honest, I love the version of Rock and Roll that they've done with the Zeppelin. I thought that was fantastic. So let's move on to letter number 11 from Eric Trent. I really enjoy and look forward to your podcast every month. My wife and I will be at the January 11th DLR Vegas show and would love to meet you guys. Keep the great podcast going, and thank you for continuing to wave the Van Halen flag. Eric Trent. Dave, this has to happen now. Come on. We got people.
I know. I better get my credit ready.
That's right. You better.
It's going to be a big bar tab.
You better dust off that credit card, because God knows it hasn't seen the light of day. I think that thing, the last time it came out was 2006.
Oh, no. It was much older than that.
Oh, really? Oh, my God. You're probably paying for your kids' diapers at that point. All right. So letter number 14 comes from just a random guy in NYC. This guy's a little mysterious. So he says here, I see your point. This is regarding loss of control, when we got into that whole fucking discussion. So I see your point and can agree. It would have made an amazing instrumental. There's definitely some punk attitude influence, but I still stand by it's a proto-trash song. On another note, I revisited that 84 bootleg from Montreal. Okay quality, but man, it's almost like each song is a mini concert. Whichever Dave, meaning of your Daves, just missed that one as a 16-year-old man, I'm sure you're still kicking yourself. And as a former drummer musician, I know you guys get it, but other listeners still question Michael Anthony can very much play. They can let him play on earlier albums, especially at Fair Warning, when he got some cool bass riffs all over on that one. Just a random guy from NYC. Okay, so I would say Loss of Control, yeah, it's just too lyrically lazy and vocally sloppy for our taste. Music was killer, though. It would have made a great instrumental. The 84 Montreal show. I also love the 84 Garden show. And yes, I am still kicking myself for not being able to go, but there really was no control on my end. I asked for it for my birthday, and the tickets were $50 a pop. Now, today, that sounds like nothing, right? Like $50 a pop. What, are you kidding me? Those are like free. But back then, when the tickets were like $14, I think, a piece, like $50 for each ticket was insane. So he wouldn't let me go, but I really wanted to go to that. But
David, I am not buying you a $50 ticket to your rock and roll crap concert.
Oh,
David.
boy, there's my dad again. There you go. Oh, Dad, come on. Just this one time, you don't understand. They're going to break up.
No, David. When you're old enough, David, you could go see them yourself, David.
And little did he know. So let me tell you what happened with that. So after I couldn't see Van Halen, and I was crushed. I was like, oh, I had to suck that up. And that was hard. So I got to pick another concert instead. I went to see Adam Ant with the Romantics opening up. And my dad loved the Romantics. He was really into them. I loved Adam Ant. I loved the show. I actually saw Adam Ant just a month ago, and that was really good. It was really burning me that I couldn't go see Van Halen. There's a few shows like that where my parents wouldn't let me go. The Police played Shea Stadium in '83, and I had to sit home on that one. That burned my ass. And then also when the Stones played the Garden in '81, oh, that was heartbreaking. And then when Bowie played the Garden in '83 on the Serious Moonlight tour, that was another one. I was literally home having convulsions over that shit. So yeah, there was some hard times there. That
it's good to see you got over all that.
Yeah, oh no, the resentment's still there. It lives on and on. So yeah, so that's all there. And so we are on to letter number 15, and that comes from a man by the name of Chris from the Classic Rock Album by Album podcast. And he says, "Hello, Daves. I just watched the performance clip of DLR with his new band, and after reading that the new band sounded nothing like Van Halen and had a twin guitar attack, I just thought I'd provide my own commentary. What a bunch of horse shit. Every song in their clip sounds just like Van Halen. They aren't reinterpreting anything. It's interesting that Dave has waited this long to do anything Van Halen related. Dave started talking trash recently, and clearly he's showing some signs of being frustrated with the brothers. Is it possible that his contract with Van Halen has run its course and he's free to perform outside the band? To me, this seems likely. On one hand, it's great to see Dave out playing in mostly Van Halen material, but on the other, it seems possible that Van Halen may never play again. At least not with Dave. Personally, I think the chance of playing Vegas with the full support of the band is highly unlikely. Can't wait for the next episode, Chris, from the Classic Rock Album by Album podcast." I love Chris's podcast. I listen to it all the time. Thanks for writing in, Chris. It's always great to hear from you. Yeah, Dave is definitely in the Van Halen vein for sure, but that band needs to tighten up, like we mentioned in the Van Halen news section. The video that you saw, Dave saw, and I saw, we all saw. Yeah, Dave was, I think he jumped the gun a little bit. I think the band needs to go back to the rehearsal studio and make things really super tight, because if he's going to come out in Vegas, Dave better knock that out of the park, because if he comes out and shit is not good, that is going to ruin him. This is Dave's, real last card. I don't know what else he's going to do. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I hope they tighten up.
Totally, absolutely. And we are on to letter number 16, and this was a man by the name of Jeff Shrewsbury, and he says, "I apologize for not signing my name on my last letter. My name is Jeff Shrewsbury." We had called him, I guess, EVH or something like that. And but he says, he put Evie as my first name, H as my last name, and he was just saying, if you notice, my email address is a nod to Wolfgang Van Halen and his birth date, and I hope this makes sense. So Jeff Shrewsbury, he was the guy for that letter that was EVH, so we're giving him credit for that one there. Okay, and we are on to letter number 17. Jesus Christ, we're moving so fast, I can't even feel my feet anymore, Dave. Letter number 17 comes from one of your favorites, Dave, Shannon the Dude. He says, this showed up on the VH Reddit. How hot is this? And he showed us a clip of Eddie playing Panama from, I think it was like 1985 with the Paul Schaefer and his World's Most Dangerous Band on Late Night with David Letterman. He says, I think it sounds hot. Maybe nobody should replace Dave on the next tour. Well, I think, Shannon, you're right. Although I don't think they're going to go out and play Van Halen songs. I think they're going to go out and play songs with Wolfie. What do you make of this, Dave? Do you remember that clip from Late Night with David Letterman?
Yeah, that was actually, the drummer was Steve Jordan.
Oh, okay.
From Keith Richards' solo band. And also he's played with a whole bunch of other people like John Mayer, ton of people. But I noticed that. That guy's a killer drummer.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and I would bet you if they do go out and play with Wolfie, I bet you they sneak in a Van Halen song or two.
Really? Oh, now, would they play? Do you think they play something off of A Different Kind of Truth, though?
No, I think they'll do like Ain't Talk About Love or something.
You don't think they'll do like As Is or something?
No, I if they're only going to do one or two Van Halen songs, they're going to do like popular ones. They're going to do the ones that people know.
Okay, we'll have to see about that. And we are on to letter number 18, and that comes from Jay Ferry. And he says, I love the band Van Halen. I love the show The Office. I'm not sure I missed this during the multiple rewatches, but I spotted Van Halen in The Office in Season 8, Episodes 8 and 9, called Money, at the 15-minute, 50-second mark. Attached, sent some screenshots for you. This is the biggest Van Halen news since the singer was fired, quit, or whatever, at least in my demented opinion. Love the cast and all that, Jay Ferry. This was interesting. Some screenshots of The Office, which is the NBC sitcom. There is a big Van Halen poster on the wall, and I'm going to tell you something, Jay. I really enjoyed that poster. It was a really cool picture of Dave and Eddie with Mike, and I don't know where. I've never seen that poster before. Let me tell you something. I want it. It's a good catch, Jay, and that was quite an interesting catch on that. And we are on to letter number 19, Brad Snitzer, Dave. And what does Brad say? Oh, he says, I have a good what if for you guys. Oh boy. So he says, this one is serious. What if Van Halen had a reunion tour with Sammy and Michael, and they played the entire 5150 album, as some bands have been doing, to remind them about the good old days when they all liked each other and made incredible music? In addition to playing the entire album, their stage would be the exact same they used on that tour, and Wolfgang could be his dad's guitar tech, so he can be involved and keep his dad going. I think this would be fucking incredible. Keep waving the Van Halen flag, Brad Snitzer. Well, Dave, it's time for another episode of What If?
Now it's time for What If with Dave and Dave.
Shit, what if? What if?
Dave Marconi's favorite segment.
What if? What if, motherfucker?
I don't do what ifs.
Well, I think, Brad, that's a nice thought, but that would never happen. Mike and Sam are done with the Van Halen brothers, and Wolf ain't nobody's guitar tech, that's for sure.
Right.
But he did say what if, so I will entertain it. Putting a pin in Wolfie being a guitar tech type of thing, because that's really out there, I don't know how well that would sell, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if it would be such a huge draw. There's not a real die-hard fan base for the 5150 era. I don't know how that would work, or Van Halen doesn't seem like a whole album type band. You know what I mean? Like I don't see them doing something like that. Like that's something like Yes does or something. I don't see them doing that. What do you make of this, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, maybe with something like the 1984 album.
Yeah, that's what I had suggested if they were to ever do one like that. But I don't even know if they would do that. But I thought
I don't think they would.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the 5150 album, it's not one of those albums that people like, that is such a classic album that they want to hear from beginning to end.
Right.
I mean, I like the album. It's not a bad idea.
Right.
But I'm not holding my breath waiting for that to happen. I mean, the only thing less likely than that is Wolf being Ed's guitar tech.
Right, absolutely.
That's all, folks.
And our last letter of the night, Dave, and I just want you to know, we're going 20 letters, and I'm really cutting it close here. So look at this. Number 20 it comes from Daryl Alba. I love the podcast, listening now, and I'm guessing this was recorded before the short video of David Lee Roth's Vegas rehearsal came out. I hope he can refine those vocals, or unfortunately, this could close quickly. Daryl Alba. Oh boy. Daryl, it's good to hear from you again. Yes, as discussed in the news, David Lee Roth and his band have a lot of work to do rehearsing, that's for sure. Like I said, I'm surprised he went so public so early, but it seemed really sloppy and sluggish. There was something off with the timing of the band. I felt like they were going in slow motion a little bit. Like, I don't know, like Van Halen music is moving. I mean, like I said, Dave needs a home run, and that Vegas residency better create good buzz.